got jitters, and that may be caused by something else. Oh yeah, so jitters, this is giving me jitters, but I also might have jitters from something else, so I supplement with some caffeine powder. Not too much, the equivalent of like maybe 3-4 cups of coffee throughout the day, but I do it in powder form just because I don't feel like drinking coffee. And I accidentally scooped from my caffeine tub instead of my creatine tub, because I was going to take a teaspoon of creatine in the morning. And yeah, so that was the equivalent of like 16 cups of coffee in one shot. So yeah, Moto Mummy. This is their headquarters. If you haven't heard of them, they sell motorcycle parts, like any parts you would want to get. Exhausts, fenders, and fairings and whatnot, grips, levers, whatever you want. I just was picking up some ASV levers for the Chase on Two Wheels I Am Ramekin meetup. So yeah, yesterday wasn't the best of days at all. So give a little recap. Can't really remember what I had said yesterday when I mentioned it just a bit, but what went down? So yesterday morning, every morning I take some creatine, about a teaspoon of creatine in the morning, which is about 10 grams. You only have to take about 5 grams each day, but I just started taking it again, so I was loading it up, building up how much is in my body. So I take about a teaspoon in the morning. Well, I was in a rush yesterday morning, and instead of taking creatine, I scooped from a container of caffeine powder I have. So the last time I used it, I accidentally put it in the place where my creatine powder is. And so I ended up scooping out a teaspoon of caffeine and dumping it in the drink that I shook up. And immediately when I tasted it, like I just took a little, I just dumped it in a little bit of water because it wasn't that much. And for the creatine, I put it in maybe like a couple ounces of water. So I downed the whole thing right away. And immediately I knew I had taken the wrong stuff, because like processed, like laboratory produced caffeine tastes really bad. Like it has a really distinct flavor, and immediately I knew I had to take it. So I went and tried to throw it up, and I've never like made myself throw up before, so it was kind of difficult. But I managed to kind of get myself to throw up, but not really. But I thought it wouldn't be a big deal, because oddly enough, like a day or two before that, I was I came across something that was talking about like the lethal dosage of caffeine, and from what I had read, it was like 100 grams, and I had taken about 3 to 4 grams. To put that in perspective, a cup of coffee has about 100 to 150 grams. Like a big giant monster has maybe 200, 250 milligrams. Sorry, I think I said a cup of coffee is about 100 to 150 milligrams. Like a big monster is about 200, 250 milligrams. And I took between 3 and 4 grams. So that was, up to like 30 cups of coffee in one shot, and that is not good. So I mean I didn't, because it wasn't anywhere near the lethal dosage that I had read, I really didn't think of anything of it. But like I said, on the way to work, I was already starting to feel really jittery, and when I got to work, I started feeling really sick. Like all of these different feelings started coming to me. I was feeling extremely jittery. I was like caffeine gives you a lot of focus, a lot of like alertness, but a ton of it in your bloodstream just puts you on edge a lot. So I was feeling that. I was feeling super, super, super anxious, and just like a really, really bad sense of nervousness. So immediately it was like, I think I need to go to the hospital. So I decided to go to an urgent care facility, like a med spring is what the urgent cares are called here in the area, because it was, be fairly cheap on my insurance just to stop by the urgent care. I thought it was going to be $50. It ended up, they said it would be $100. But urgent care, they're like, yeah, we can't do anything for you. And like, if you actually need any help or like anything to fix this, any care, we don't have anything to provide it. And I'm thinking, really? Oh crap, I think that was glass. Crap, I hope nothing happened. Oh man, crap. Alright, whatever it was, I don't think it got in my tires. Man, that's terrible. Anyways, so I'm thinking, you're an urgent care facility and you don't provide urgent care? He's like, the only thing we can do for you is pretty much take your temperature and your heart rate. And I'm like, wow. So you want to charge me $100 to do something I could do myself? Like, and I'm like, can I just have the opinion of the doctor? All I want to know is if this is something that I should go to the ER for. And he's like, well, if you feel bad, you should go to the ER. I'm like, I feel bad when I get a fever. That doesn't mean I need to go to the ER. So I'm like, okay, let's. My friend from that I work with took me there. So I'm like, okay, let's just go back to the office. Like, I feel bad, but let me just get some food in me. Just take a seat, try to relax, and maybe it'll go away. Well, we get back in the car, and it starts getting worse and getting worse fast. Like, my heart starts beating faster. I'm feeling more sick to my stomach. I'm feeling extremely nervous and anxious. I start feeling, slight sensations of going into shock. I'm starting to lose focus, like slightly black out a little bit. And I'm like, I need to go to the ER. So then I just start getting super loony. Like, we're on our way to the hospital, and the hospital's like, I don't know, maybe 20 blocks away. It's not very far. We were like in the middle. Well, it's probably a waste for me to explain where in Austin we were, but we were about 20 blocks away. But it's South by Southwest, and we're in the middle of downtown Austin. So traffic is insane. Tons of lanes and streets are blocked off. There's people walking everywhere, so you can't move. It sucked. And here I am, like, practically going into shock, losing consciousness. It sucked so bad. So we get to the hospital. I go and she dropped me off at the doors. I walk inside, go to the counter. I tell them exactly what's up. They like get all my information. That's the other thing. They're like, go fill out these forms. And I'm thinking, like, I can barely keep myself from passing out. How am I supposed to fill out these stupid forms? And then she's got like a face mask over her. Like a breathing mask that a doctor would wear. And like, I understand that you're, in a hospital. You probably should. It's probably a good idea to have something like that, but you're behind a glass counter. You can't really. I'm not like breathing in your face, and I can't hear a darn thing you're saying because you got a mask on your face. So I'm like pressing my ear up against the glass. People probably think I'm an idiot and I got something wrong with me, but it was sucking so bad. So she finally gets my stuff. I get a little hospital wristband, and then they do their little triage business to decide how vital it is that they see me, get my priority level. So I try to sit down, and the entire waiting room is filled with like little screaming toddlers. And here I am, about to pass out, nearly going into shock, and I'm listening to toddlers scream their heads off. I can't deal with this. So I go to like a little corner seat, and I don't like sitting there either. So I sit on the floor, and then there's a nurse around there, and she says you can't sit on the floor. So she gives me like this little private room to go in, and like things just start going downhill. So I like run to the bathroom, I start throwing up, and like at this point I haven't had anything to eat during the day. All I've had was water and the gobs of caffeine that I took. So like I'm throwing up tons. It helps a little. I'm actually able to go sit down, but I still feel like if I don't like keep focus on everything around me, that I'm gonna immediately pass out. But luckily, a few minutes later, she takes me back. A nurse comes, the same one that put me in the room. She comes, puts me in a wheelchair, takes me to the back, and starts taking my vital signs. Interestingly enough, aside from my blood pressure, which was a little bit high, everything else was relatively normal. And that's normal as in they're in the okay range. I know my heartbeat was up, and it was going up and down. At times it was over 100, but I think my resting heart rate at the time was about 80. Normally my resting heart rate is about 60, depending on what when I'm resting or where I'm resting. But yeah, so like I'm doing okay. They take my blood sugar, and that's okay, but I'm still feeling like crap. They stick me in a room. Like they finally give me a room with a bed. I lay down, try to relax. They give me some nausea medicine. That kind of helped, but not entirely, not as much as I would have hoped. And then they give me some like Xanax type stuff to decrease my anxiety. And that probably helped the most. They gave me some apple juice. Go apple juice! Oh, that was the best part. They gave me some apple juice and some saltine crackers. It starts going away a little. And after about, they let me rest there for about an hour and a half or so. And then I'm feeling better to go. So my friend comes and picks me up, and we head out. It was a long day. And you know, right after I took it, I was like freaking out and like researching, and so I'm looking at cases of caffeine overdose, and I'm like, 17-year-old girl dies from taking 900 milligrams of caffeine. 21-year-old guy dies from drinking 800 milligrams of caffeine. Whatever aged person dies from drinking this much caffeine, and I'm like, I've taken more caffeine than all of them. So I'm like freaking out that I'm like gonna die of overdosing on caffeine. Luckily that didn't happen, but it sure did feel like that it was gonna get there. But I made the best decision to go to the hospital. You know, I may have been okay if I had not, but I would have been tripping for far longer than I was. And it was a weird day. I'm still feeling it. I took it yesterday around noon. I left the hospital around 5:30 or 6, and it's 4:20. It's 4:20 right now, p.m. So it's been a little bit, about 30 hours. Almost 30 hours since I took it, but I'm still feeling weird. I still kind of feel sick to my stomach. I still, you know, it's all like conflicting stuff, because like the medicine they gave me was all to counteract what the caffeine was doing. So like caffeine really makes you really anxious, and so the medicine they gave me was to decrease my anxiety, and taking that much caffeine and not eating made me feel sick, and so they gave me anti-nausea medicine. So like some stuff wants me to feel all of these things, and then the other stuff tries to shut it down. So my body's feeling really conflicted. So like I have a stomach, I feel sick, but I'm not running a fever. I want to sleep, but I'm not tired. So like it's just all kinds of weird. So moral of the story: don't get caffeine in powder form, and if you do, don't mix it up and take too much. 2, if you need to go to the hospital, go. Take care of your body, and don't do drugs. That's what I got for you guys. So it was a weird time. I thought it might ruin the trip because, you know, I leave tonight. I'm gonna go stay in Houston, and then on Friday morning head out to Atlanta. And really, guys, I was thinking that this was gonna ruin my trip from a stupid mistake. And I'm taking the full blame for this. I'm not saying that. I'm not just like complaining because something happened to me. Like I made a mistake, messed up, and paid the consequences for it. But I'm glad I'm okay. That's all I'm thinking right now. I'm glad I am okay. So looking forward to Atlanta. Gonna get a lot of good videos out of it. Looking forward to seeing all the motovloggers coming out. We got Chase on 2 Wheels and I'm Ramekin. We got 74 Seabass, MR6, Downshift 83, Shag in the Wind. I know I'm gonna be forgetting people. Riding Rubber's coming. Man, it's just gonna be insane. I think the Facebook event now has like 160 people that say they're going. I don't think that we'll actually end up with how many people say they're going. But that's what we're at right now, so we'll see how it goes. But I'm trying to do videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I've been off of that lately because, again, I sent my ECU in to get tuned. I got that back. I'll have a video on that. I left my blinker on, old school Motonosity style right there for you guys. But yeah, so I was out of my ECU was gone, so I couldn't ride, and then I got sick, so I couldn't make a video. It's been times have been crazy, guys. So I'll try to get back on it. But good to have the bike back. Good to not be dead. It's just good times. I'll see you guys later. But yeah, so comedy defensive driving. It was, you know, kind of a little humorous, but super easy and cheap. They'll ship this certificate out. I'll get it, sign it, and take it into the courthouse, and be all done with this speeding ticket that I got last January.